Show with Bo Bounce.
Streaming worldwide live on the Out of Bounds radio app and on your radio.
At ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right, good morning. Welcome in the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Brought to you by Kessler Prime and the Renaissance. And the let's go with the Rack of Lamb and the Four Roses Bourbon Old Fashioned. Kessler Prime and the Renaissance, phenomenal steakhouse. KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Tom Luginbill, National College Football Analyst with ESPN. He joins us on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line. We've got a lot of QBs hopping around. Ole Miss is yet to land one. I think they thought they wanted to get in the Spencer Rattler deal. He ends up at South Carolina. There was some talk on Miles Brennan, Dylan Gabriel, and then even the Bo Nix thing got heated up late in the week. And so I think some people are surprised as hot as Lane Train is right now, coming off a 10-2 season, and what Corral has done the last 2 years, as to why they may be on their sixth or seventh choice right now with the QB transfer portal. And we bring in former Georgia Tech quarterback Tom Luginbill to the Out of Bounds Show. Lugs, Ole Miss fans are kind of questioning how they've missed out on maybe up to a half a dozen guys. What are your thoughts?
Well, maybe we should question on whether or not they did.
Maybe
there wasn't as much interest as people are purporting there to have been. I always try to look at this from both perspectives. It's easy to just say, okay, well, there's a bunch of guys in the transfer portal, so, Lane's going to get one of them. Well, if Jeff Levy's still there, you've got Dylan Gabriel in the fold, and that could make some sense. But Lane Kiffin's not going to take Bo Nix. I think Lane Kiffin knows that he needs to be more accurate, more consistent at quarterback than Bo Nix, and there's enough of a sample size there that would tell him that that's probably not going to be the case. The one guy that I look at that seems like he could be a potential option would be Keaton Slovis, because of his ability to throw the football. He is very, very talented. He's been a bit streaky, but his good is really, really good. But I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm serious when I say this, Bo. I think that sometimes with public sentiment, we get caught up in emotion of, looking at it only from the standpoint, our staff wants this guy. But maybe that's not necessarily the case each and every time out.
Interesting. I think they've been going hard after a quarterback in the transfer portal.
And maybe they have.
I think Dylan Gabriel. Tell me about Dylan Gabriel. Would he have been a good fit with Lane?
Yeah, I think he could do a lot of the offensive things that they were doing. He's familiar with the scheme. He knew Jeff Levy's scheme, obviously, from UCF. It made some sense there. But, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the fact that, Jeff Levy left. I don't want to put it all on Jeff Levy, but let's not forget, Jeff Levy's now at Oklahoma. They've got Caleb Williams. That wasn't going to be a landing spot for Dylan Gabriel. And, you're also making a leap from the group of five to the Power Five. So that's a little bit of a leap too, especially if you're looking at the SEC. So, let's see how it plays out. I mean, this is the new world that we're living in, and everybody thinks that this open market makes it super duper easy. Well, I'm not so sure that it does. I'm not so sure that that's the case. And who's to say that with a guy like Dylan Gabriel and the resources at play in the city of Los Angeles, that there's not name, image, and likeness involved to a serious extent here?
Interesting. Tom Luginbill, National College Football Analyst, ESPN on the Out of Bounds Show. So you feel like Keaton Slovis would be good with Kiffin, or has the potential to be good?
Yeah, I think he could be. I think now obviously he's not going to do the run game stuff that Matt Corral would be capable of. I mean, that's not what he is. But in the throw game, absolutely. But I think you've got to research injury. He's been hurt a lot. Those are also factors that come into play when you're making these decisions. So, I'm looking too at I think, not to get off topic here, but you mentioned Miles Brennan, because I think Miles Brennan is really, really good. And when Miles Brennan has played quarterback for LSU, They've been very good on offense. His problem is he's been injured. I think he made a really, really wise decision.
I do too.
By going back to LSU.
Agree.
They got athletes. They're going to be really well coached.
Well, they actually have a real head coach. So I mean, that's huge for him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And he's an offensive guy. And that's important too. And so, you've got Max Johnson out there. I actually thought that he made a good decision. You know who made a bad decision? Zach Calzada. And here's the problem with Zach Calzada. I guarantee you, this guy starts 10 games and walks away. I guarantee you, he thought he should have been the starter without having to compete for it. And Jimbo was like, no, you came in, played really well for us. You didn't win the job outright. We've got Haynes King coming back. We've got Connor Wegman, the true freshman, that we're really excited about. We're excited about you too, but you're going to have to earn the starting job. And I guarantee you that's why Zach Calzada's not there. He wanted to be the starter and not have to earn it.
Max Johnson, you just made a comment there. All right. And so our Dogs and Rebs play, obviously, A&M every year. Mm-hmm. Why did Max Johnson make a bad – I think Jimbo's 50-page playbook, I think his offense is still antiquated. But why do you think Max Johnson made the wrong move to A&M?
I don't think he made the wrong move.
Oh, you said you thought he made the right move.
Yeah, I think Max Johnson – well, listen, Max Johnson, if you remember, did you see how Max Johnson and the throw he made, did you see how they beat Texas A&M?
Yeah.
I mean, that throw was a 1 in a million throw. He played his tail off. So you're sitting there if you're Jimbo Fisher, and let's start doing the math. You're going, okay, I've got Zach Calzada. He started 10 games. I've got Haynes King. He was our original starter. We're still excited about him. In a matter of hours, Zach Calzada ups and leaves, all right? You're now left with a walk-on and a backup in Haynes King, who's probably still not healthy enough to play in the bowl game. And Max Johnson is sitting there going, wait a minute, there's a great opportunity to compete and potentially be the guy at Texas A&M, and the guy coaching Texas A&M just watched this guy go up and down the field on him. It's beautiful. It's like a marriage made in heaven.
Are you – let's see, where are we right now? Yeah, I got a couple of minutes. Tom Luginbill on the Out of Bounds show. Are you surprised Georgia hasn't been active in the QB transfer portal, Luke's? Oh, we lost Tom. All right. Darn gremlins around Christmas time. They're stingy. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Brought to you by the Rack of Lamb at Kessler Prime in the Renaissance. Visit KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. We'll also have Tom on in the next segment, too. We do have about a minute and a half. Lugs, are you surprised that Georgia wasn't active in the QB transfer portal?
Absolutely, because I've been dumbfounded by Georgia's recruitment of the quarterback. I can't figure it out. It's like the only area. It's the most important position on the field, and it's the only area that they haven't been able to capitalize. When you're the University of Georgia, how do you not have your pick of the litter of top-level quarterbacks at the high school level or in the transfer portal? It's mind-boggling to me. And they're going to have to come up with some answers, because outside of signing Justin Fields, which could have been the worst timing in the history of college football, they've literally missed on every guy they've taken.
Wow. All right, we're going to continue this discussion and maybe jump into a little bit more Georgia-Michigan with Tom Luginbill, national college football analyst with ESPN. He's got a busy holiday schedule. He joins us on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line, talking about a great beer. Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line. And you're listening Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. We are also presented by Independent Roofing Systems, the #1 commercial roofing company in Mississippi. Independent Roofing Systems. You can visit roofing.ms. The Out of Bounds show is powered by Independent Roofing Systems, the #1 commercial roofing company in Mississippi. Tom Luginbill, another segment with us.
In any industry, businesses come and go, but we've been here in the greater Jackson and Vicksburg areas for almost 25 years. We couldn't do that without a dedicated, friendly staff and without loyal customers. Customers who trust us. It's really not that complicated. We take good care of our employees and we take great care of our customers. We think that's a pretty good way to run a business. I'm Nick Fulton, and our business is USA Pawn.
Football season is here, and Four Roses Bourbon would like to raise a toast as we celebrate game day. Whether you're sipping on Four Roses Bourbon at the hunting camp, by the fire pit, on the patio, or outdoor kitchen, handcraft the moment with Four Roses Bourbon as they celebrate 130 years. Cheers to Four Roses Bourbon and football season. Be mellow, be responsible.
Honey, don't forget your mom's birthday present.
It's a whole new shopping experience at USA Pawn. We have an amazing selection of quality merchandise, from jewelry and home goods to tools and furniture. And with our prices, it's like everything's always on sale.
What'd you get your mother?
USA Pawn, 3 locations in the Jackson area, plus Vicksburg, Pearl, and Canton. Get mega more at your mega store, USA Pawn.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
In any industry, businesses come and go, but we've been here in the greater Jackson and Vicksburg areas for almost 25 years. We couldn't do that without a dedicated, friendly staff and without loyal customers, customers who trust us. It's really not that complicated. We take good care of our employees and we take great care of our customers. We think that's a pretty good way to run a business. I'm Nick Fulton, and our business is USA Pawn.
Football season is here, and Four Roses Bourbon would like to raise a toast as we celebrate game day. Whether you're sipping on Four Roses Bourbon at the hunting camp, by the fire pit, on the patio, or outdoor kitchen, handcraft the moment with Four Roses Bourbon as they celebrate 130 years. Cheers to Four Roses Bourbon and football season. Be mellow, be responsible.
Honey, don't forget your mom's birthday present.
It's a whole new shopping experience at USA Pawn. We have an amazing selection of quality merchandise, from jewelry and home goods to tools and furniture. And with our prices, it's like everything's always on sale.
What'd you get your mother?
USA Pawn, 3 locations in the Jackson area, plus Vicksburg, Pearl, and Canton. Get mega more at your mega store, USA Pawn.
Game day will never be the same because Pearl River Resort is introducing all new ways to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This is your ticket to Vegas-style sports betting, and it's game time. Place your bets on dozens of high-impact sports matchups anytime at the Timeout Lounge. And as always, play over 1,100 Vegas-style slots, 25 table games, and our 14-table poker room. Pearl River Resort is redefining what it means to win with Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We're not just fans. We're here to play.
In any industry, businesses come and go, but we've been here in the greater Jackson and Vicksburg areas for almost 25 years. We couldn't do that without a dedicated, friendly staff and without loyal customers, customers who trust us. It's really not that complicated. We take good care of our employees and we take great care of our customers. We think that's a pretty good way to run a business. I'm Nick Fulton, and our business is USA Pawn.
Football season is here, and Four Roses Bourbon would like to raise a toast as we celebrate game day. Whether you're sipping on Four Roses Bourbon at the hunting camp, by the fire pit, on
Press the button, my friend.
The Out of Bounds Show is live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge in the Bank Plus studio.
Check it out.
Good morning. Welcome in. Thanks for making us your SEC football show of choice in the great state of Mississippi. We appreciate you streaming the show live on the Out of Bounds radio app in Mississippi and outside of the state. We welcome back Tom Luginbill, National College Football Analyst, ESPN. And Luke joins us on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line. We were dancing around some QB transfer portal stuff, which is wild. We'll see who Ole Miss lands on. Lane Kiffin did not sign anybody in December out of high school either. He has Luke Altmaier, who redshirted, but there was strong word out of Ole Miss that they were going to land a guy, as Tom said earlier, still could, and it may be the guy. But we'll see how that looks, especially as good as they've been at quarterback the last 2 years. Tom and I think are on the same page. I think Matt Corral's the best college quarterback in America, and I'm not even sure it's close, even with Kenny Pickett. All right, Lugs, Dabo. Clemson has become a powerhouse the last decade. 1-2 played for 4. You know all about that. They lose OC and DC, and Dabo comes out and says, I didn't even interview anybody else. I promoted from within. I believe that the best of the best, both companies and NFL or college or whatever programs, they go hire the best available. You at least talk to other people. Ed Ogeron a couple of years ago said, I didn't even interview these guys. I just hired them. Dabo said it took about 30 seconds. In this day and age, where he's not an elite recruiter, although they have moved it up, what is your reaction to Dabo's comments and promoting from within, Tom?
Well, wait, hold on. Are you saying that you don't think Dabo and that staff have been elite recruiters? I do.
Well, all right, so they were in the teens and they moved up to about what, a composite 8 or 9? I guess now I consider elite the top 3 or 4, and that they're gobbling up so many of the 4s. Like we just ran the numbers last week on how many A&M, Georgia, and Alabama got combined 4 and 5-star players compared to the next group, and I just think they're pulling away, if you will. May not on the field, but as far as 4 and 5-star players. Tom.
Well, so here's how I would combat that, and because it's interesting you bring that up, because I started looking at that from a statistical standpoint, and I started saying, okay, what is the common denominator amongst, during the college football playoff era, what is the common denominator amongst the top football programs that have won a national championship? And every single team that has won a national title during the college football playoff era, in the 4 years leading to the year that they won it, had an average of at least a top 10 class. That includes Clemson. So you don't have to have a top 5 class to win the national championship. But if you're averaging in the top 10, you're putting yourself in the college football playoff. And I think, to be honest with you, to be fair, with what Dabo and that staff has done, if you look at their players, you look at their first rounders, they've clearly elitely recruited, because they've beaten Alabama on people. They've beaten LSU on people. They've beaten Georgia and Ohio State on people. I mean, think about this. You're Clemson, right? How does Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence leave the state of Georgia?
Well, that was pre-Kirby either there or really getting it go. Well, Kirby hasn't recruited well at QB anyway. It is a great question, though, Tom. It is a great question.
Yeah, and so I guess the point that I would make is this, and I think this is going to get to the crutch of your question, is I appreciate the loyalty. I appreciate the consistency and the familiarity that Dabo is approaching here in relationship to why he's making this moves. My question would be, is Brandon Streeter, okay, or Wes Godwin, are they going to go into a home or go into a school, and are they going to be the dynamic personalities in recruiting that, let's just say, the clout of a Bill O'Brien's going to bring, okay, or the clout of a Monken is going to bring, or the clout of a Ryan Day, a Kevin Wilson, what have you? I think that's the bigger question here is, do they have the dynamic personality? Forget the coaching. Do they have the dynamic personality to go into the home and beat some of those people in recruiting? And that's the question that I think remains to be answered.
And then the flip side is the whole play calling ability has never been more valuable today. And we're actually able to run metrics and run the numbers on some of these guys. Neither one of these guys have ever called a play, Tom.
Correct.
And what
But
we
neither
find
had
is
Tony
that's
Elliott,
usually
neither had Tony Elliott, neither had Jeff Scott. So I'm just pointing out some things in fairness. In fairness, you're right. But in fairness, now listen, you watch what's going to happen, man. All of these guys, like Tony Elliott's a genius with a first rounder at quarterback, right?
Sure.
Jeff Scott was a genius with a first rounder at quarterback. How's South Florida been on offense? What's going to happen to Virginia when you don't have the players Clemson has? So it's all relative to access to players, too.
No question. Which will be interesting here in this state, Tom, because Kiffin has looked amazing the last 2 years with the first-round pick at quarterback. What if they dip just 2 tiers below that, okay? And we still know Lane's really, really good on offense, but as you said, when you go from a first-round pick at that position to maybe just a good college QB, boy, your play calling may not look as great, correct?
Right? Yeah, it's different. I mean, let's call it what it is. Look at all these. Look at right now. Look at the Peach Bowl. Right? If Kenny Pickett had decided to play, all right, it doesn't even matter that Mark Whipple's not there. Kenny Pickett could go out there, run the entire offense, call every play, call every protection, run the whole thing. Now look at Pitt. Pitt's playing with a backup quarterback and no offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, you think that's not going to affect Pitt on offense? I mean, like I always say, if you got a quarterback, you got a chance.
Right.
If you don't, look at Virginia. Brennan Armstrong is so freaking good. And if you look at Virginia on offense, on defense, one of the top 5 worst defenses in all of college football. And because of Brennan Armstrong, all right, they were able to win scoring matches. They don't have Brennan Armstrong on that team. Let me tell you something. I had their game versus Notre Dame when Brennan Armstrong was injured, and Virginia could barely get a first down.
All right, go to Georgia. They don't have a quarterback, really. But they could be the outlier anomaly in this. But, boy, it looks like they ran into too much, and a lot of people don't believe that they can get through Bama. May not even get through Michigan, although I think they will, but get through Bama again. The fact that they have the 4th best quarterback in the college football playoff, what does that say?
It says that the odds are against you to actually win the national championship, because when you get to this level, Desmond Ridder, difference maker. Bryce Young, difference maker. I could make the argument that Cade McNamara and the combination of J.J. McCarthy at Michigan, a really lethal combination and far outweigh anything that Georgia is taking the field with. So at the end of the day, it's no different than the NFL playoffs, right? When you go deep into the playoffs, look at who the quarterbacks are. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. There's a reason why that is.
All right, 30 seconds. Back to the QBs that have transferred. Tell me the one that you feel like has the best chance to have a great year. Is it Dylan Gabriel, Spencer Rattler, Max Johnson, Bo Nix, someone else, from what you've seen today?
I think it's probably Dylan Gabriel because of the offensive fit, the philosophy under Chip Kelly. He's the easiest transition. I think, personally, this is going to surprise people. I think Spencer Rattler is going to struggle.
I agree with you.
It's December 20th, 2021. So when we have this discussion next October, let's revisit this.
Love it. Hey, Merry Christmas to you and your family, buddy. We'll talk soon.
You too, pal. All right, buddy.
Tom Luginbill, National College Football Analyst with ESPN. He joined us on the Bell's Two-Hearted Ale guest line. Out of Bell's Two-Hearted Ale at Kessler Prime on Saturday afternoon. Back in a second.